Sawyer Rosenstein, an 18-year-old freshman majoring in communications at Syracuse University, recently received a $4.2 million settlement from a New Jersey school district. He was paralyzed from the waist down when a known bully punched him in the abdomen. He was 12 years old at the time and hasn't walked since. 3 months before the punch, he had emailed school officials to report that he was being bullied and asked for help with coping mechanisms to deal with the situation. He also wanted to put this on file in case it ever happened again. Unfortunately, his attorney and the school board said the settlement did not include any admission of liability or fault on the part of the school district. A claim was also settled against his attacker with confidential terms. Bullying actions have consequences on not only the victim, but can also have effects on the community at large. In the preceding example, taxpayers are somehow footing the bill. They can become not so innocent bystanders, but holders of a large debt. I want to promote zero tolerance of bullying in adolescent and teen academic settings through Christian-based principles, intervention skills, and use of existing criminal and civil law. Only someone not familiar with current affairs would say that there isn't a tremendous problem with bullying that needs to be addressed. Solutions have been tried with limited success. There are alternatives that we could employ. Most importantly, we need to understand that there are things that can be done to correct the situation. We are not without objectives, strategies, and tactics to fulfill this mission. Despite decades of attention, bullying has remained a seemingly unsolvable problem with a domino effect of consequences. According to Education.com, there is more reporting of bullying, increased cyberbullying, and ample evidence of underreporting. We could look at juvenile bullying as taking its cues from adult behavior. That's to say, climbing the ladder of success. In many adult situations, the rules of civility are relaxed to the point where there are no rules at all. Young people face the same situation upon entering large group contact, such as entering schools where there is social combat for social positions. While this behavior is acceptable in the animal world, where there are leaders who exhibit dominant behavior and followers who exhibit submissive behavior, it must not be tolerated in human society. This animal pecking order can turn victims into bullies, which often happens in school settings. The anxiety that is created by the social struggle of being part of the in crowd causes students to react out with behavior that is not thought out. If students were asked, "What were you thinking when you did this bullying behavior?" the correct answer would be, "Well, I wasn't thinking at all." There is an overabundance of anecdotes and statistics that demonstrate the seriousness of bullying behavior. Not only are there deaths at the hands of bullies, but also suicides by the victims. The injuries suffered by the victims are inexhaustible. Furthermore, the psychological trauma is just as devastating and may be carried into adulthood with feelings of low self-esteem and being a doormat. There's no need for me to recount stories of bullying at school. Anyone who has attended public schools could compile a list. Older generations may not be as aware of cyberbullying, in which I would suggest a search of the internet to familiarize themselves with bullying associated with digital technology. With this understanding, we can no longer sit idly on the sidelines, treating bullying as just a phase of maturing while young people's futures are being destroyed. After trying so many techniques with questionable successes, let's try the God of the Bible and His associated wisdoms. Biblical principles, if properly understood, give subtle yet powerful remedies to bullying. First, Matthew 6:25 says we are commanded to not be anxious about life, what we wear, or even where we eat. These concerns are some sources of the ever-increasing anxiety that young people feel. Secondly, Romans 15:1 says, "The strong should bear the infirmity of the weak, and not take advantage of them, which bullies do." Finally, Luke 6:31 says, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." This means if you want to become popular, treat other people as if they're popular. If these principles are internalized and utilized, they will take much of the wind out of the sails of the bully. There is an intervention skill known as assertiveness. There is an intervention skill known as assertiveness training that could have tremendous effect on bullying. It divides behavior into 3 categories. The first is aggressive, which is the very definition of bullying. The second category is submissive, which is the very definition of the victim. We can assume that both of these categories are inappropriate. The third category, assertiveness, offers a solution to the situation. Students, whether victims or bystanders, are taught to stand up for their rights. A third technique, behavior modification, offers aversion skills that can be used to address the situation. First, there must be a timeout of isolation for the bully, where they are not able to interact with other students. A corresponding loss of privileges should also be initiated to offer negative reinforcement to the bullying behavior. Finally, the judicial system must become more involved in the form of the juvenile courts. Students are endowed with inalienable rights from their creator. Many of these acts of the bully, if committed in adulthood, would be criminal and considered assault and battery. Age discrimination is illegal according to the Department of Justice, but it usually applies to the elderly. The young needs to be given the same judicial rights. The judicial system could even use tactics such as scared straight, because if these problems are not addressed at an early age, they incubate and arise later in life with even more dire consequences. This methodology of biblical principles, assertiveness training, and behavior modification would need to be tested to be confirmed. We do have information of the technique's success and other circumstances. There are untold religious testimonials of conversion and behavior change. Not the least, the Apostle Paul, that produced a 180-degree turn in behavior, the successes of assertiveness training and behavior modification through though secular, are equally as numerous as shown by the proverbial adage, stand up to the bully if you want the bullying to stop. Imagine there was no more bullying. Although it has been so chronic, it's easy if you try. Where kids only go to school to learn, not to be bullied or maybe die. Children need a safe and secure environment, free of negative stress or distress, to grow confident and tall. Undoubtedly, since children are our future, society will grow ever more a reflection of schools, where bigger girls and boys have deadlier toys. Furthermore, this disregard for our human inalienable rights will no doubt spread worldwide, where the next stage becomes nations dominating or bullying the other nations. In summary, there is no doubt we have a problem of bullying in schools. This behavior needs to be nipped in the bud before it grows more cancerous on society. The solution is implementation of new strategies as a part of the curriculum for students, teachers, and other support staff. There is a choice: further deterioration of civility in our schools and in time our society, or a dramatic approach to the problem resolution. I know the extinction of bullying is a dream, but reducing incidents to the point where reducing incidents to the point where the effects are negligible or statistically insignificant is achievable. If we believe, we can achieve. In conclusion, I reiterate that every incident of bullying must be dealt with appropriately using a combination of methods suggested, or other effective methods. Even non-reporting must diminish in victims or bystanders must get involved to bring the issue to light. Bullying grows in the dark. Thank you.